Welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday. It is Friday, Junior. Welcome, Derry Bennett, Michael Hassler. How's it going? Clownfest sunk last night, and nobody cares. SAG-AFTRA strike is over. Yes, we will talk about that. Derry Bennett, Q Bennett, welcome, hello, and hope you are having a wonderful day. I'm hanging in there. All right, got off work late. But here we are. I loved Vivek for a bit. Absolute clown. Like, if there's one thing, that we could get from, at least from the bits that I saw, because I managed to catch maybe 45 minutes of it. Man, if there's something, or if there's anything that we can gather from it, it's just how bloodthirsty these people are. Truly disgusting. That was like the main thing that stuck out for me. All right, folks. Since we're a bit of a time crunch, we're gonna try to get as much of this done. All right, let's get this show started. I think it's only fitting that we begin on this topic. Ali with the 12 biddies, welcome.
And as your president, I will not let you down. God bless you.
Governor DeSantis, thank you. Governor DeSantis, thank you.
Last night was yet another Republican primary debate, which of course did not include Trump, which means this debate really means nothing. But I got some highlights or lowlights for your entertainment, because of course, let's get serious here. Were there nuanced discussions around the Middle Eastern conflict? Thoughtful ideas around the economy, or, detailed explanations about what to do with the climate crisis?
No, none of that. The face DeSantis makes it so funny. Like, how do I smile again? Welcome, Echo Resto Dragon. Very normal, very normal, very hinged. I mean, like I said, the theme, if anything is to be gathered from yesterday's debate, is that just how bloodthirsty these people are. It's absolutely disgusting. Just wait for a minute and you will see in the video. Gotcha.
No, of course not. This is a Republican debate. Why would I even bother trying to get any, details here, or try to push back against any of their garbage when all of it is so clearly garbage on its face? So what I got here are the fun highlights for the most part.
Heat, how's it going?
Of course, there's a lot of ridiculousness and some policy kind of mixed in here, but we'll get to all that, including my favorite highlight of the night. But first here, 5 candidates on stage this time. So they cut off most of the fat. There are 5 people who are somewhat recognizable to most people. So we got Chris Christie, Vivek Ramaswamy, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, and Tim Scott. This is how polling currently sits.
It's good. Good to hear.
This is from 538. Trump still way ahead, of course, sitting at 56.6%. There is no reason at all for him to include himself in the debate, so he didn't. Next up, DeSantis sitting at 14.1%, Haley at 8.7%, Ramaswamy at 5.3%, and Chris Christie at 3.1%, and Tim Scott 2.2%. So those are your five in the debate. I guess you could say this is a debate for VP, but I don't think Trump is going to choose his VP based on who performs the best here. It's going to be whoever is the kindest to him. That's generally how Trump operates. So I don't even know what any of this is for except to maybe sell books. But let's get to the first highlight. This was a great moment, and it's only 6 seconds long.
And as your president, I will not let you down. God bless you.
Jesus. I don't even know how anybody caught this,
What?
but okay.
What is this? Ron DeSantis. This is
I mean, like, yeah, I guess that is one of the highlights, right? That is one of the highlights.
this is. I think every debate he's done this, where he doesn't know how to smile. It's like he's reciting in his mind. Okay, after I say this opening statement, or after I say this line, I have to remember to smile. And his face is like fighting itself. It's like,
Governor DeSantis, thank you.
do I use my tongue to smile? Right? No, that's not right. Put the tongue back. There we go.
Jesus.
I don't know. If you told me that aliens exist and they walk among us, this man is not human. Let's get to
Ah,
all the dogs out there.
the next highlight of the night. So this near the end, there's no point playing the whole thing, but Vivek wants to build a wall. Not just any wall, but 2 walls. One of them on the northern border with my country, Canada.
true. Okay. We need a border around the entire country. Tiptoe boots DeSantis, true.
Check out. And you'll see, he quotes Wayne Gretzky here.
Americans. So we got to just skate to where the puck is going, not just where the puck is. Don't just build the wall, build both walls. Can't just complete the wall, use the military to seal the Swiss cheese for the tunnels that they're actually building underneath that wall.
Yeah, okay, so how exactly do you propose to do that? Okay, how like given like that that's the thing. Like, how exactly do you propose to do that?
Give
That's
Mr.
what needs to be
Ramaswamy.
practical and actually get this job.
Yeah, and also like, didn't he? I don't know if it was Ramaswamy, but one of these clowns said that we need to like have the military take care of our southern border. It was some like wild like mask off statement where he said, one of them said something to the effect of like, Netanyahu needs to deal with the incursions on his border and we need to deal with ours, or something like that. Jesus.
Now, it's unclear if the tunnels he is discussing are also on the northern border. You know what? Yes, please.
Yeah, it was him. Okay, I remember.
Build a wall on the Canadian border to keep Americans out. I am perfectly okay with that. Maybe the best policy proposal I heard on.
Look at that. David Dole is a fan of the border wall, but on his side. Listen, I don't blame you, okay?
Night. Let's get to the next clip here. This, I have to say, is my personal highlight of the night because of the way Vivek ends this clip.
The fact of the matter is the Republican Party is not that much better. You have the likes of Nikki Haley, who stepped down from her time at the UN. Bankrupt or in debt was her family. Then she becomes a military contractor. She joins the board of Boeing and otherwise, and is now a multimillionaire. So I think that that's wrong when Republicans do it or Democrats do it. That's the choice we face. Do you want a leader from a different generation who's going to put this country first? Or do you want Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels?
All right, Mr. Ramaswamy.
Like, first of all, that was pretty funny, and that almost was a mic drop moment, except like the alternative is just to have what he's saying basically is that instead of going through this like veneer of choices, why don't you just like put me in charge? Right? Like, that's what he's saying effectively. Like, why don't you just put the oligarchs in charge? Like, why are we talking about these politicians that are bought and paid for when you can just elect me, who does the buying and the paying for, right?
Got 2 of them on stage.
Ramaswamy, thank you.
Dick Cheney and 3-inch heels. We got 2 of them. He's talking about old Ronnie here.
Oh, shoot. I didn't catch that. Oh, I didn't catch that part. Okay, no, never mind. I'll give him his points for hilarity back, okay? I'll give him the points back.
Look at his face. So I covered last week, I think, the whole Ron DeSantis secretly wearing heels in his boots story. He was on the PBD podcast, and they brought it up to him, and you know, he kind of sidestepped the question. But before I get to more on that, let me just first show Nikki Haley's reaction to this clip, and then I'll get to the Ron DeSantis heels stuff.
I'd first like to say they're 5-inch heels, and I don't wear them unless you can run in them.
Was that another shot at DeSantis? Okay.
We've got 2 of you on stage.
The second thing that I will say is I wear heels. They're not for a fashion statement. They're for ammunition.
So, I heard this one. I was watching it, and I still don't know what that means. Does she store ammunition in her heels, and that's why they're 5-inch heels? I don't understand.
Well, we said first like to say they're 5.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. Yep. I'm just as lost. I'll be honest. I'm just as lost. Oh, they can be deadly weapons. Gotcha. 5-inch heels can be used as a weapon. Stilettos are kind of pointy. Gotcha. Okay, well, it makes a little bit more sense now.
They're for ammunition? Okay. I guess it's like...
I guess the way she phrased it was just a bit odd. Because, like... Yeah, it's just weird. Maybe if she would have said... Maybe if she would have been a little more direct and said, you know, they're not just for running, they're for... They're for weapons or something. I don't know. That would make more sense. But like, the phrasing that it's also for ammunition is just a little weird. But yeah, I guess you guys cleared that up for me. A kick to the wrong spot in high heels. Oof. Think ears or neck in Minecraft? Yikes. No thanks. Yeah, awkward phrasing indeed.
I don't know. Girl power, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. What a weird line. Terrible comeback. But we'll get to a better Nikki Haley moment in a minute here. But I got to get back to Ron DeSantis and these heels. So Wu-Tang Kids shared this on Twitter. This is Ron DeSantis during the commercial break. One of the commercial breaks. Check out his walk here. Looks like I don't know. Looks like he's struggling a little bit. So again, picture That doesn't look like a man who's comfortable walking. Which could go to the fact that he's an alien, or
he looks like he's walking like a robot. I'm gonna be honest. The film connected to single white female creepy girl stalker and killer. What?
Possible he's wearing quite the heel in those boots. So, man, something's going on there. So there's
the heels.
I'm not going to go deeper into this heel discussion because I did it last week. You can go watch that video. But he knows, he has seen the data around how important height can be in an election. But it's so wild to me that DeSantis' entire focus is on appearances, is on these superficial things that he thinks, they're going to really matter in this race. When the real issue is that you're down this far in the race. Being a little bit...
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, none of it really matters. Gonna be honest, even as a female, I can't walk well in heels. They're not for walking. True. They're for running. Gotcha. Noted.
Taller on stage, smiling after your lines in a debate. These aren't the things that are going to win you the election. You're not going to win the election. But if you were, you would have to differentiate yourself in some other way. Not try and just play this game of appearances with the rest of the candidates. It's so weird to me that a lot of the focus from his campaign is so much on that stuff. But there's also this. So there's another commercial break, or this may be after the debate. But it was commercial break. So he stumbled down the steps. As Aaron Rupar writes here, if Joe Biden did this, Hannity would be in the anchor chair right now for special breaking coverage. So check out this moment.
Boats were made for walking. Oh, yeah.
Oh, where's he going?
Oh.
Where's he going?
Oh.
So he stumbles a bit there off stage. Again, clearly he's uncomfortable in those shoes and doesn't yet know how to really walk properly in them. All right. Here we go. This is, I don't know. Everyone looks terrible here, but check this out.
How do you get TikTok banned if you use it?
Well, I want to laugh at why Nikki Haley didn't answer your question, which was about looking at families in the eye.
Whoa. How would you do a TikTok ban? Wait a minute. What was the question? Ground level news. Welcome.
I don't know. Everyone looks terrible here, but check this out.
How do you get TikTok banned if you use it?
Well,
I see. Okay. So how do you get TikTok banned if you use it yourself? Got it. All right.
I want to laugh at why Nikki Haley didn't answer your question, which was about looking at families in the eye. In the last debate, she made fun of me for actually joining TikTok while her own daughter was actually using the app for a long time. So you might want to take care of your...
That's what is it? That's a whataboutism? What? They asked you, how would you, deal with the, how are you squaring that circle? You're advocating for the banning of TikTok, but you use the app yourself, and then the response to that is like, well, her daughter uses it. What?
Family first.
Leave my
before
daughter
preaching to
out of your
anybody else,
voice.
adult daughter. The next...
Jeez, Will Smith moment, right? I didn't see this exchange. He shouldn't be talking about her kid. Oh, I agree. Just to be clear, this dude in particular, out of all the fucking ghouls that are on stage, this one's one of the more ghoulier ghouls, okay? So he's not really above behaving in this manner.
Generation of Americans are using it, and that's actually the point. You have her supporters propping her up. That's fine. Here's the truth.
Oh man, dude. Everybody's like booing at me because I went after somebody after somebody's kid. Damn, dude. It must be her supporters. It couldn't be the fact that I'm a complete asshole. No, that can't be. In Warcraft 3, ghouls are the basic undead. I like using them. Well, not these ghouls. These ghouls aren't good. Not these. This isn't Warcraft.
The easy answer is actually to say that we're.
Did she say scum? Did she say such scumbag or such scum? Which, by the way, I agree, but it kind of feels empty coming from her.
Carry your family first.
Leave my daughter out of your voice.
Your adult daughter. The next generation of Americans are using it, and that's actually the point. You have her supporters propping her up. That's fine. Here's the truth.
You're just
the easy
scum.
answer.
Oh yeah, she said you're just scum. I mean, true, dude. But also, like, it feels kind of weird coming from you. But okay.
Is actually to say that we're just going to ban one app. We got to go further.
Yeah, dude, trust me. The party of free speech, like, yeah, we just gotta ban like TikTok and like whatever it is that we perceive, you know, that's against us. Yeah, we just gotta ban it all. We can't just stop at TikTok. We gotta ban like all kinds of stuff that's against us.
Oh, I was on mute. So Nikki Haley calling Vivek scum. This is the most talked about moment today, which is kind of surprising to me. I guess there wasn't really a whole lot to go off of.
And again, mind you, this is supposed to be a debate, you know, for who's going to be the nominee for the Republican Party, and like all the highlights that we get are like this. Okay, like, have we gotten to a highlight where it's like actual like meaningful policy? No, except the actual nominee isn't there. Yeah, like save aside the fact that, like, you know, at the end of the day, you're right, it doesn't really even matter because like none of these people are going to even be close. It's just reality that chances are that Trump is going to be the nominee unless extenuating circumstances dictate otherwise. It is pretty safe to say that Trump is the nominee, effectively. But I'm just saying, like, imagine like this is the highlights that we're getting. Yeah. And the GOP is not racist at all. Oh no, they are. They are.
But it's not that big of a deal. But you know, that's maybe a highlight for Nikki Haley. I don't know. No one looked good. I didn't watch the whole thing because I'm not insane. But from the variety of clips I came
Yeah, I couldn't finish it. Like, I'm be honest. I could barely pay attention, okay? I got maybe like 40 minutes in, and then like I was just done. Okay? And besides, like, it's all pretty moot. But yeah, they all said to destroy Hamas and are on the side of Israel. Yeah, I was saying earlier that, like, if there's anything that we can extrapolate from this circus is that, yeah, these people are absolutely like bloodthirsty. Like, it's bad enough how, it's bad enough, like, the way the Biden administration is handling this, but like 99% of these people would be like turn Gaza into a parking lot type deal. Okay, like all of these people were 100% behind that. They were all just screaming sound bites over each other. It was rough. Yeah, I don't think I even got to that point. I got like through the beginning of like the first part because I remember some of those clips. But I don't think I got much. I don't think I got much farther than that. Batman Gioni, welcome. which is more or less what's happening right now. True. There's just another debate of who can be the bloodthirstiest ghoul. Yeah, like that's kind of like the point that I was trying to make. Exactly. Like, it's not just like never mind just how bad the Biden administration is handling all this. But like, these people were on another level. Like, these people were like openly and very confidently and openly and excitingly advocating for the continuation of death.
Cross. I don't know. Seems like a weird moment to stand out for most people, but that's what made a lot of the headlines. This comment he's making about TikTok, he's actually right. Like, if Republicans want to reach younger voters, I don't think TikTok is the solution, but to run away from it is not helpful. That said, Vivek is also the guy that said he wanted to raise the voting age. So to both pretend you care so much about younger voters while saying you want to...
It doesn't have to make sense, okay? Like, a core necessity of fascism is to be able to believe and constantly say completely contradictory things. In fact, like, it's incredibly it's at the core of fascism to be able to just simply say, like, oh yeah, I care about, younger voters, but also I'm gonna advocate for raising the voting age. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's not designed to. It's not designed to. Candidates use violent rhetoric on Israel Gaza war without mentioning humanitarian. Oh, like this also reminds me, like, Chris Christie was asked about the Palestinian kid who was murdered simply for being Palestinian or simply for being Muslim by his landlord, and the mother was stabbed several times as well. That's one of the parts that stuck out to me. I don't think he even acknowledged that. I think he completely sidestepped that. I'm pretty sure, well, let's see if they mention it here. Former UN ambassador Nikki Haley said she would encourage Netanyahu to finish them. I worked on this every day when I was at the United Nations. They have to eliminate Hamas. Whew. Yeah. I've said that there's blood dripping from the hands of President Obama somehow, ? And President Biden. I mean, like, yeah, but not the way they think. Not the way they think. Entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy compared Israel's border to the U.S.-Mexico. Oh, this is the comment that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, let's revisit this one. Quote, I would tell him to smoke those terrorists on his southern border, and then I'd tell him, as president of the United States, I'll be smoking the terrorists on our southern border. You know, the brown people coming to seek asylum. Those terrorists. We need to smoke them. Is this not, like, does this not sound delusional? Like, is this, like, if you read this and then you listen to this as a response, like, is this like a normal person's response here? I saw this one. No, I don't think they included the other quote. Conscious Canuck. Hearing saying that was all just insane. Yeah, like this is wild that like somebody like running for president presumably is saying things like, yeah, dude, he needs to smoke those terrorists on his southern border, and then we need to smoke the terrorists on our southern border. Bro, what are you talking about, dude? You mean like the asylum seekers coming from like the Central America? Just using the word smoke is so weird. Making sense is not a requirement to vote. True. And like Ron DeSantis was like so-called Islamophobia. Dude, one of the questions that that was asked was like, what are we gonna do about like Islamophobia after making that mention of the story of the kid that got killed, that got stabbed to death? There's also another recent attack on a Sikh because they think they're Muslim or Islam for some reason. So yeah, it's so-called Islamophobia is very much real. Saying that we need to defend our border is one thing, but we're gonna smoke those fools in odd commander-in-chief language? Yeah. Yeah, that's still a thing, and like Governor DeSantis is like so-called Islamophobia. Just unhumble bragging from the GOP to sound like Daddy Trump. The GOP wannabes, well, no, they're not wannabes. This is the Republican Party. These are the people that are running for president under the Republican banner. These are the people. This is the Republican Party.
Raise the voting age is also a little bizarre. But this is what you should expect from this kind of scum on stage. And I'm speaking of all of them here. So last couple clips, I just want to highlight the reactions to this because they were both asked about this the next day, which being today. So here's Nikki Haley on Fox News.
Not to continue on the personal here, but the microphone caught the words. We heard you say you are scum. Do you want to continue with that today?
Why is Bill Hemmer? Why is he so moved by?
Do you want to continue with that today? Yeah. Ali with another 12 biddies. 20 GOP debates was 5 people. No, I don't know. We're not going to have 20 GOP debates, right? We had 3 so far. Not sure if you've heard of this. Florida rep in tears as call for Israel ceasefire just gets 1 vote. A Florida state representative, Angie Nixon, was in tears as she made an emotional plea for Israel-Gaza ceasefire. The Jacksonville Democrat calls for de-escalation of violence in Gaza during a session of the Florida Senate, which ended in a 104-2 vote against her resolution. We're at 10,000 dead Palestinians. How many will be enough? One of my colleagues said just all of them, which referencing a comment made by Republican Representative Michelle Saltzman in the chamber. That's why we come in the state. We don't care about innocent babies that don't get the chance to blow out their first birthday candle. No, you're talking about the Republican Party. What are you talking about? Yeah, so I mean, like, just to like understand like the scope. Just to understand like the scope, the gravity and scope.
We are at 10,000 dead Palestinians. How many will be enough? I also...
All of them.
One of my colleagues just said all of them. Wow.
Yeah. Cool. Phenomenal. That's so freaking depressing. Like, noted that like this is just the Florida state legislature. Like, I don't even know like what a state legislature could even do. But Jesus Christ, just to hear that, is pretty
great content needs a great audience. Stark. Like your boss needs validation.
All right, that's pretty dark. Well, they see Palestinians as vermin. It's disgusting. Yeah, like they don't see them as people. They don't see them as people.
By this, he's like so bothered that Nikki Haley said scum. You guys elected Trump, Donald Trump, and you are hammering Nikki Haley over calling Vivek scum? Bizarre, very bizarre.
No, it's not. It's probably honestly just misogyny. Can anyone find out who said that? Yeah, it was in the article. It was Michelle something, Chambers or some shit. I can't remember. But it said it in the article. One of them said it. Unknown number of them thinking about it. They all voted against that resolution. So that kind of tells you that kind of gives you that answer, right? It was 104-2. And there's also the supposed guardrails in place. Imagine what they will do without them. Well, I mean, they'll tell they're very explicit in that debate. They do see them as people. They just see them as less than. Perhaps. It just seems like the humanity of these people have been completely just disregarded. I think they see them, but the place can't stay running by a terror group. Okay, but that's not excusing the amount of civilian casualties. That's not an excuse for what the Israeli government is doing. Michelle Salzman, yes, that's what it was. I'm sorry, I read like Chambers. Yeah, never mind. Just ignore me. It's Michelle Salzman. Yeah, they put it in the article. You're right. It's just that what the Israeli government is doing is unacceptable. It's just unacceptable. I don't see what else can be done. Not killing civilians, is that a difficult place to start? Is that a difficult place to start? And don't give me this shit about human shields, okay? Because then if that's the case, you know what? Every time we have a hostage situation, just kill the fucking hostages, right? As long as we get the bad guys, just kill as many civilians and kill as many fucking hostages as needed, right? It doesn't matter. Fuck it, right? You know what? If it takes 100 civilians to get the terrorists in a hostage situation, fuck it, kill them all, right? Don't even attempt to negotiate to attempt to save the lives of the hostages. There's no point. They're using them as human shields. Just kill them all, right? I don't understand. Have Netanyahu leave? We don't really have an option. The only thing that the United States government can do is to publicly say, make it very public that we will no longer support Israel militarily and financially if they do not stop this. If they are incapable of continuing to kill civilians, then we publicly need to just state it publicly that we will no longer support them militarily and financially. That's it. And trust me, that will ring the correct bells. Yeah, well, Biden stated firmly against that won't happen. I know. I'm just saying that that's what we should be doing. That's what in an ideal scenario, that's what we should be doing. Clearly, that's not what's happening. I'm just saying that that's what we can do, and would be our responsibility as the United States to do. But you know, when we have presidential candidates going out and saying shit like that, so you rather keep this evil terror group there? No, you're avoiding the question. Why are you so evasive? Okay, so the answer isn't to kill an ungodly amount of civilians just to get the bad guys, okay? None of this is excusable. Do you understand that? Can I ask you a question? Sure. So, like, basically, what you're saying is that in a hostage situation, then we should just kill the hostages, right? What's the point? We should just kill the hostages as long as we get one terrorist. It doesn't matter. Kill the whole fucking room, right? Because that's perfectly fine and excusable. You know what? Hey, let's expand that. In fact, you know what? Police, as long as they get the bad guy, should be allowed to kill as many civilians as possible. As necessary, just to get the bad guy. You know what? I think that's a great idea. I think that's phenomenal. You know what? Cops should just be given free reign, and as long as they get the bad guy, it doesn't matter how many civilians die. You're right. You know what? You're absolutely right. Cops should just kill as many civilians as long as they get the bad guy. It's not completely up to the U.S. and or Biden. Not completely. But not completely, but we do have a lot of pull, a lot more than we think. If you have 200,000 people in a row, if none of them are shooting at you, how do you identify the terrorists? It doesn't matter. You don't kill civilians. I don't understand, like, what's hard. What's that? How hard of a concept that is? What if the hostage taker already killed a number of hostages? Are there hostages alive? What about when they get to the point where they show that they're unwilling to negotiate? You mean Israel? Because that's who is currently unwilling to negotiate. I'm not saying give them free reign, but include those questions makes it a more apt metaphor. I don't understand what you're saying. What are you suggesting? I'm just following along your logic. Like, oh, well, we just, it's just what happens. Is basically what I'm getting from you. What am I suggesting? I'm suggesting that Israel stop killing civilians. Biden put a loophole in that military bill that Israel to be given money with no paper trail how they spend it. Damn. I didn't say that. I'm following your logic to its natural conclusion. And again, my same comment would go to you, Cosmic Seeking. So you would be fine bombing 200 people as long as it gets one terrorist? This doesn't make any sense. It's abhorrent. Are you suggesting to stop killing civilians? But from my point of view, I'm imagining that means leaving the terrorists there. Not necessarily. But all you're doing, if your goal is to actually stop the terrorism, then why are you creating more terrorists? You're literally just bombing civilians and then creating more terrorists. Right now, Israel is Hamas's best advertiser right now, as the simulacra put it. Right now, Israel is the perfect marketing advertiser for Hamas right now. The West Bank is full of terrorists stealing homes from Palestinians. Yeah, that shit needs to stop 100%. That's another thing that the United States could be saying. Like, hey, you know those illegal settlements? That shit needs to fucking stop. And if you don't, or if you're incapable of stopping those extremist settlers who are killing Palestinians for their homes or whatever, then we as the United States are going to publicly announce that we will no longer support you militarily and financially. Israel and Hamas are acting independently of any other country. No, that's not true. Israel, we have a lot of pull towards Israel. We are their biggest financial backer. I want to know how you identify the ones that are carrying a gun or bomb or just have launched a rocket. You don't know. You don't always know. So my point being is that if that's the case, then you cannot just level an entire neighborhood based on that logic. Does that make sense? You think it's possible to kill terrorists without harming civilians? I think that bombing entire neighborhoods under the guise of getting terrorists, and then it turns out that you only got like a couple of them, but like hundreds of civilians are dead, is creating more terrorists. So again, it's just very simple. Stop fucking bombing civilians. By most accounts, the majority of Hamas fighters are orphans from Israeli strikes. Yeah, and if that's the case, then it really doesn't seem like Israel wants to defeat Hamas. It really doesn't seem like they want to actually defeat the terrorism. So you would level a neighborhood where 12 rockets have just come from? No, I'm saying the exact opposite. I'm saying the exact opposite. You don't level an entire neighborhood because you think that there might be one terrorist there. That's not how this works. Unless you want more terrorists. And then justify that to continue the cycle of violence. Unless that's what you're after. Unless the goal here is to perpetuate the cycle of violence and to continue to inspire more terrorism. And every bombing run that you do just creates 10 times more terrorists. Then if that's your goal, and then use that as justification to continue military action, then yeah, dude, it seems to me like Netanyahu's doing exactly what he wants. Netanyahu is Hamas's best advertiser right now. I just don't think that you're suggesting I just don't think what you're suggesting is possible. What, to not go on entire bombing runs where entire neighborhoods are gone? I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but there are entire blocks and blocks that are just gone. I'm pretty sure it is possible to not have this amount of carnage. And as someone pointed out, ambulances? Ambulances? Do you think any terrorist that gets past your encirclement to not bomb, shoot, or send rockets at you later? Look, I don't really care. It's very simple. Stop bombing civilians. If you don't want more terrorists, then stop creating them. It didn't work for us in the Middle East. It's not going to work this time either. Journalist. Yeah, dude, I'm so glad they got those ambulance Hamas tactical vehicles. I'm so glad that they destroyed the Hamas ambulance tactical personnel carriers. whatever. And I saw like one of the French oh god, let me go back to it. And this is confirmed not just by the IDF, but by the French as well, the French government. Earlier this week, or last week, I should say, France's foreign minister confirmed that the French Cultural Institute in Gaza was hit a few days ago in a way that caused astonishment, incomprehension, and which led France to call for explanations from the Israeli authorities. What? There's fucking French, I guess, Hamas Tactical French Cultural Institute. Got him. Damn, dude, really destroying terrorism, dude. Whatever. I mean, you know, you can try to, you know, wrap the bloodthirstiness in whatever bow you want to try to wrap it in, but it's not going to fly. They also hit a French media building or something. Whoa! Didn't mean for the derailment. No problem. No problem. Sorry, we'll get back on the rails. All I'm saying is that we don't tolerate this in any other place in the world, but because it's Palestinians. Yeah, like in what? I mean, like even the people who are saying like, oh well, you didn't ask the U.S. to have restraint in 9/11. Yeah, there was a lot of people that were against the invasions. And what I mean by a lot of people, I mean like the international community was not really 100% on board. In fact, they had to make up this corny coalition of the willing. The United States had to make up this coalition of the willing, which is like a handful of countries that would like always ride or die with us. Because most of a good chunk of the world back then was like, I don't know about this one. And like we did it anyways. Okay. So like, it's just horrible that we're back to the same freaking, we've come full circle. Literally what, 20, how many years ago? 20 something years ago? Yeah, hot take. Killing 1 million Iraqis was bad, actually. Yep. And did we actually ever end up destroying Al Qaeda? No, they're still there. In fact, their more radical offshoot became ISIS. Did we destroy the Taliban? Nope. They're still there. Okay? So like this whole thing, yeah. I'm just good on the whole bloodthirsty stuff. I'm good. How's it going, Curly Bear? Welcome. ISIS was created by Clinton? I don't know. I think ISIS was an offshoot of Al Qaeda because Al Qaeda wasn't like radical enough or something like that. They like split off. That's from what I remember. But it's not on the same level. I mean, about ISIS. Oh, they supported them in Syria. I don't know. Listen, my history is my knowledge of that area is pretty poor, but I guess I don't know. But it's not there on the same level. I mean, about ISIS. I don't know what you're talking about. I think my point is the same. I'm good on the whole bloodthirsty stuff. This needs to stop. Plenty have been said about Trump calling President Obama the founder of ISIS, a GOP candidate, blah, 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 blah. It sprang from Al Qaeda. Okay, yeah. The group's roots are a Sunni terror group from Al Qaeda that started in 2004 by a Jordanian Islamist. It was a major player in the insurgency against the U.S. forces that toppled Saddam Hussein and against the Shiite-dominated government that eventually replaced Hussein. ISIS also targeted the Shiite community in general, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, so I vaguely remember reading something about this. Between the Pentagon and CIA, we supported a bunch of different groups in Syria, some of who fought each other. Gotcha. Right now, the U.S. supports the Kurds in Syria. The U.S. should pull their troops from Iraq and Syria. I'm not exactly opposed to that. We have no business there, except to, like, I guess, you know, guard our interests in oil or whatever. I don't know, man. I'm just over it. I'm over it, and, like, people need to, like, stop, you know, performing whatever mental gymnastics to, like, justify what's happening. It's just not excusable. There's, under no circumstances is anything that the Israeli government is currently doing is excusable. It's just not. Period. Full stop. Anyways. It is complex, especially historically. Maybe so, but right now, it's not that complicated. The Israeli government has the power at this point, at this moment, to, like, not bomb civilians. That part is not complicated at all. Like, the actions that the Israeli government is doing is inexcusable. Period. Full stop. I don't think it needs to go beyond that. When it comes to the context that's happening in this particular moment, the actions that the Israeli government is doing right now is inexcusable, and it needs to stop. Period. Full stop. Like, that's it. I don't think that's like we don't there's no, like, nuanced discussion here. It's just that simple. The Israeli government has a huge influence on the U.S. government, and vice versa as well, because we give them a ton of money. Yeah, not take out journalists, not go after, like, I don't know, like, mosques, hospitals, not bomb refugee camps for 3 days straight. I don't know, man. We moved two aircraft carrier groups to the region so that no one would stop them. Israel has a strong support in Congress and the House. Yes, I agree with that. Two carrier groups? Yeah, but it's just for, you know, it's just for defense, guys. Don't worry about it. It's just for defense, right? I think, honestly, the simulacra is right. I think that the reason they're there is just to make sure that the massacre just gets contained to one particular part of the area. Anyways.
Or shit. You could almost say this is sexist, because if Donald Trump had called somebody scum, I don't think he would be asked about it in the serious way that Bill Hemmer here is asking Nikki Haley.
Do you want to continue with that today? Do you feel the same way?
I mean, Bill, that was showing a lot of restraint. That's all I'll say. That was showing a lot of restraint.
Okay.
What?
All of Israel's neighbors are licking their lips for a chance to attack. I mean, like, given the circumstances that is happening right now, like, Israel's giving them all the excuses, instead of just, like, worrying about, like, any type of self-defense. Yeah. 100 congressional staffers walked out of protest of Israel and Palestine. They could have sent 2 carrier groups with $10 billion worth of material and goods to Maui. Oh, no, we don't care about that. We don't listen, we don't have money. We don't have money to give people health care. We don't have money to give, to make sure that people have, education. We don't have money to make sure that we don't have homelessness. We don't have money to make sure that people have food. But by God, man, if there's war, if there's war, whew, blank checks, and this is just an excuse. No, I think they mean that I think what they're referencing is that they could have provided way more resources to Maui. I think that's what their point was. Not that nothing was coming. Not that nothing was coming to Maui. We're just saying that we have issues here at home to solve. And we're completely okay with spending an ungodly amount of money on weapons and war and all this stuff, but can't seem to find that. I don't think we've even sent Israel any extra aid yet. I think 14 billion just got approved. That one is dead on arrival. That's the IRS one. The House passed it, but they only included money for Israel and like no aid at all to Gaza. No money for Ukraine. It'll be dead in the Senate. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so the House did pass it, but it's probably not going to go any further than that. Okay. Gotcha. Ukraine wants 61 billion. I think they'll give it to them. Zelensky was cursing yesterday on national television.
I don't know what's going on with Bill, but good on Nikki Haley for not backing down from that comment. Last clip here is Vivek responding. So check this out.
Called out Nikki Haley's daughter for using TikTok. She then called you scum. Why did you go after her family?
Why were you indeed scum? The GOP wants no money for Ukraine. Well, so a faction of the GOP doesn't.
And her clothing. No woman's going to like that.
Well,
Sir, why did you why were you behaving like a scumbag, and then the results of that was that she called you a scumbag? Can you please comment on that, sir?
Well, I'm going to tell you, she called me 4-letter words in each of the last 2 debates, Stuart. The reality is this. The Republican Party has appropriately, I think, had scrutiny of Hunter Biden for years. I mean, not only the...
What? What does this have to do with the question? What? What? The reporter isn't wrong. No, I'm not. No, I rephrased it in a funny way because basically he was like, sir, so apparently you were going after people's family, and that's kind of like a scumbag thing to do. So, and then you were called a scumbag. Okay, that went over my head. Yep, sorry. No, you're right. You're right. Let me rewind that. Yep, you're right. I didn't catch that.
And her clothing. No woman's going to like that.
Well, I'm going to tell you, she called me 4-letter words in each of the last 2 debates, Stuart. The reality is this. The Republican Party has appropriately, I think, had scrutiny of Hunter Biden for years. I mean, not only
Oh, okay. I just didn't. Okay, gotcha.
Media, but even Republican politicians correctly. In the last debate, she's actually saying that she said, I feel dumber every time I hear you speak. That's
True. True. Are we talking about Joseph Manchin in here? Yeah, I got an article queued up. I got an article queued up.
She said, for using TikTok. The criticism wasn't of Nikki Haley's daughter. It was of Nikki Haley for being completely oblivious to where the next generation of Americans is actually getting their information. So my view is that we do better by showing up. Nikki Haley wants to go the way of censorship. I want to go the way of free speech. She wants to go the way of...
Wait, but didn't you advocate for the ban of TikTok? I'm not understanding. Men into MAGA are just Republicans. There's no point in differentiating it. You're just talking about the Republican Party.
Withdrawing from talking to young people. My point is, young people, even in your own family or on that next generation platform, we need to talk to them directly.
Okay. But you want to raise the voting age.
She's on the other side, Nikki, is of this generational divide, and that's what I was pointing out.
Oh, yes, generational divide. I can't decide if Vivek is more of a car salesman or more of a radio host. His whole presentation. If anyone needs to work on their presentation, it's Vivek. Like Ron DeSantis, sure. He also, he's terrible in terms of lack of charisma. But Vivek just comes off so phony. And whatever. What are we even debating? Why does any of this matter? It doesn't matter. Who cares how terrible all these people look? None of this matters. Even if, let's say Trump can't run. Maybe he's behind bars and he can't run for, I'm not sure the legality around that from what I'm hearing.
Maybe, yeah, like the only extenuating circumstance is if Trump makes the physical decision to not run because I don't know, he's going to be dealing with the consequences of these trials should it get resolved before the election. I don't know. But other than some very wild circumstances, Trump's the nominee. Vivek's vibe is middle-class manager repeats with corporate emails with him without engaging his brain under any circumstance. Yeah, I mean, kind of. Except he is the guy doing the emailing.
He can still run behind bars, but let's just say, for whatever reason, Trump is out of it. I'm not even sure any of these 5 are really next in line. They might get some other celebrity out of nowhere to jump in and be like, I want to be the candidate. And then if that celebrity is big enough, that's it. So,
I think that the only thing that stops Trump from being the nominee is death. Yeah, I mean, basically, for all intents and purposes, he is the nominee. Yeah, I think you're right.
I really think these debates are just absolutely pointless. But I guess there's more coming. I don't know. I will tell you once again, I will not watch the full things. Because every time I watched, I guess there were 3 already, 3 or 4. I don't even know.
There's 3.
But I watched all of them. And they are soul sucking. It is just, they're full of hate, stupidity, saying the same shit they have regurgitated again and again, but doing it in different ways. It's just, they're exhausting. And to now know that there are these debates going on and they're actually not important at all and they don't require me to.
Nah, he can still run. He can still run if he goes to prison. If he manages to, lose the trial and gets convicted and has to, I don't know, we'll cross that bridge if we get there because that's uncharted territory. So I don't know how that's going to work. If he does get convicted, but yeah, there's nothing preventing him from running. If he ends up getting convicted and if by some wild reason, not only does he get convicted, but both factors are met. He gets convicted, and he wins the election. He also will be able to somehow be president. It doesn't make sense, but yeah, here we are. Yeah, I'd have to govern from prison. That's right. If that's even how that logistically is gonna, I don't know. America needs real change. Yeah, for a while. Yeah, I'm hoping we get to a place where he has 49% of the delegates when he's convicted, and then while he's in prison, he only has to get like one delegate to get the nomination. I mean, chances are he is the nominee. Do you see anyone worthy of being president from these people? No, not right now. No, I don't see any of these candidates. That have been put in front of us as worthy as being president, or at least capable of being president. None of these people that have been put forth in front of us. Logistics would be the vice president elect would be sworn in. He would pardon Trump, and then Trump would be sworn in. Yeah, but how? Because like, you win the election, and that's it. Like, there's nothing preventing you from assuming office if you win the election and you're somehow convicted of federal crimes. Right, which the majority, by the way, the majority of the stuff that he's dealing with is federal. Not all of it, but the majority of it is federal. But nonetheless, even if he is dealing with these federal crimes, it doesn't matter because he can just he can technically govern. There's nothing preventing him from doing that, so he doesn't need to pardon himself. I mean, I guess he could, or I guess he could. I don't know how that works, because we don't even know that the gray area on that. Can he pardon himself? I don't know. Governors could pardon if they have the power in the state. Yes, governors can pardon the state crimes. Yes, I believe so. But that has to be, I don't know. It's just state by state. They have different rules on that. But yeah, you could be pardoned the federal crimes, but you can't. Oh, not in Georgia? Gotcha. Anyways, the point being is that, like, this is all, like, a gray area, so I guess we'll cross that bridge if we get there. So I'm not even going to try to, like, think about it. Georgia said nope. Maybe SCOTUS objects. No, I don't think they have anything to do with that, right? Like, unless they're dealing with, like, some kind of appeal if he gets a conviction. And he appeals it and loses the appeal, and then he appeals to the Supreme Court, I guess, would be one scenario where he might be in front of the Supreme Court. But other than that, I don't see what the Supreme Court can do, or what their role is here, other than, like, if there's, like, a fight over appeals. If they get, fight over appeals of a conviction or sentencing, whatever, I don't know. We'll have to cross that road when we get there. Cross that bridge when we get there. Because the reality is, like, I just don't know how that would even work if a convicted felon becomes president. I don't know.
To watch the full thing, even better. But who do you think won the debate? From what I was seeing, Chris Christie.
Nobody won that debate, okay? We all lost.
Probably performed the best. He seemed like the most, for lack of a better term here, presidential. But it really was just a complete mess. And I don't know. Republican voters definitely don't care about Chris Christie. So it's really down to Trump or some other celebrity.
No, it's just Trump or nothing, really, because they don't have anybody else. Yeah, I won. I watched some Babylon 5 instead. Oh man, yeah. You know what? I agree. If I had my soundboard, I would be hitting the applause sound. Trump gives too much work for lawyers. Yeah, but he doesn't pay them, right? All right, so somebody made a mention of Joseph Manchin. Democratic West Virginian senator won't seek re-election, giving the GOP a key pickup opportunity. Good riddance, honestly. Whatever. Well, there goes the Senate seat. But. See, nobody from both parties wants to heal and bring the country together and just endless fights. Well, no, I think one party is explicitly fomenting that division, and that's the Republican Party. Obama was the only person you had who I would be proud to call president. I don't know. Manchin voted with us 95% of the time from the second most red state in the union. The man was a unicorn. I don't know, because, like, personally, I see it from, like, the environmental side, and, like, in very crucial moments, like, in that 5% was very crucial. That 5% where he absolutely failed, that was crucial. So to me, like, bye-bye. I mean, goodbye. Whatever. It'll be 0% otherwise. But, I mean... if you're gonna have, like, a dude, like, really shaft you, especially when you had control of both chambers, and you know that your party had control of both chambers, and then, like, you do this stuff that he did, and Sinema, who bowed out and is now an independent. Yeah, it's okay. Bye-bye. Yeah, at least that's the way I see it. Manchin 76 said in a statement that he had made the decision after months of deliberation and long conversation with the family. I believe in my heart of hearts that I've accomplished what I set out to do, which is make sure that I get my coal and my oil buddies the pipeline that they needed, and I did my job. I did what I was paid to do. So now, yep, I'm good. I did exactly what I was paid to do. Manchin would lose to Jim Justice if he ran, and he knows this. But what I will be doing is traveling the country and speaking out to see if there's an interest in creating a movement to mobilize the middle and bring Americans together. His decision to retire severely hampers Democratic hopes of holding on to the coal country seat and marks the end of an era for West Virginia, which voted reliably blue for decades before flipping red and becoming one of former President Trump's lowest loyal states. For the last few years, Manchin has been the only Democrat elected to statewide office in West Virginia, a longtime politician who served as governor, secretary of state, and state legislator. Republican challengers began clamoring for the Senate seat long before Manchin's announcement, with GOP Representative Alex Mooney jumping in the race less than 2 weeks after winning his fifth term in the House. Not the State House, the actual House. Hugely popular with two-term Republican Governor Jim Justice joined the race earlier this year and was endorsed by Trump, who easily won the state both previous times he ran for the White House. After Manchin's announcement Thursday, Justice said he and the senator have not always agreed on policy and politics. We're both lifelong West Virginians who love the state beyond belief, and I respect and thank him for many years of public service, the governor said. Already in 2024, we're shaping up to be a tough election cycle for Senate Democrats. His party will be forced to defend 23 seats, including 3 held by independents, compared to just 10 seats for Republicans. Manchin is one of just the 3 Democrat senators up for re-election who represent a state won by Trump, a Republican, in the 2020 election. Midas Touch keeps saying that the Dems will likely pick up about 6 seats due to ungerrymandering of at least 5 states. Yeah, but this is the House. It's definitely one of our toughest Senate battles, but now it's gone. I mean, it was probably going to be gone regardless next cycle. So I'm not too sad about that. Besides, like, terrible person. So I'm not really sad about that. What the Democratic Party should do is invest more infrastructure if they're really interested in getting more people to vote for them, is to invest in all these really red states. I mean, like, look at the performance in Florida. Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. It's up to the Democratic Party if they want to make an effort. Florida's still gerrymandered as F. Yep, that's true. But nonetheless, I mean, the Democratic Party has like barely like any good infrastructure there. If Manchin is dropping out to go home, this is unambiguous W for the Dems. But if he's going to run as a spoiler, not so much. No, he's not going to run. No, he's not going to run. And even if he did run for office, like, how much, like, would he even get from the vote? Like, if he ran for president? Like, it just doesn't make sense. There's no universe where Manchin would run with the intent to win. Yeah, but, like, I mean, how much would he even, like, would people even care if he ran for president? Manchin might run as blackmail, where his entire plan is to run it only in swing states to siphon votes. Yeah, but, like, how? Like, would people even, like, care? Would people even care? He has no pull. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't see it. Dem primary voters outside of West Virginia would not vote for Manchin. No Labels is possibly planning on spending like hundreds of millions of dollars in Michigan, Wisconsin, and PA. But like, are they like an official party, or are they like the People's Party kind of deal? Because like, how many people even know who No Labels is? Jill Stein is in as Green Party. Oh, so she's gonna take up the nomination instead of she's gonna replace West. See, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know she was going to run. In recent months, Manchin has teased a possible retirement, a run for re-election to the Senate, or even a presidential campaign in 2024, possibly as an independent candidate, although it's unclear what his voter base would be. Alluding to potential national aspirations for Manchin, Republican Senator Dan Sullivan of Alaska told reporters moments after the announcement that Manchin's message sounded like someone who would be running for higher office. No Labels is a group laying the groundwork for possible third-party presidential ticket, praised Manchin as a tireless voice for America's common-sense majority. We will make a decision by early 2024 about whether we will nominate a unity presidential ticket and who will be on it. In a statement Thursday, Manchin's West Virginia colleague, Republican U.S. Senator Shelley Moore Capito, thanked him for his years of service. Yada, yada, yada. Joe Lieberman and Larry Hogan are currently running No Labels. I despise them both. They're a powerful lobby group, but they can organize a third party if they so choose. I believe the entire plot is meant to, negotiate for something. Oh, she just announced in the last 24 hours. Okay, so this is news. Okay. No labels to state they would have put up a bipartisan unity ticket as an insurance policy in the event that Democrat Biden and Republican Trump are both nominated by the respective parties. Yeah, that's probably what's going to end up happening. Noting the general unpopularity of both candidates, in November, the No Labels chief strategist Ryan Clancy stated that based on the conditions as they are, we expect to be putting up a ticket earlier next year. Manchin, a conservative Democrat, was both a critical vote and a constant headache for his party during the first 2 years of Biden's term. When the Senate was 50-50, Democrats controlled it by virtue of Vice President Kamala Harris' tie-breaking vote. Manchin leveraged his political power to shape legislation to his liking, along with, and like at the most crucial moment too. Scumbag. Along with Kyrsten Sinema, the Democrat who switched to an independent after last year's midterm, he helped water down much of Biden's social spending. He frequently clashed with members of his own party over his strong support of coal and other fossil fuels. Days before last year's midterm, he blasted Biden for being cavalier and divorced from reality after vowing to shutter the coal-fired plants and rely more on wind and solar in the future. Like, what a fucking scumbag. Jesus Christ. What an asshole. Without him, we'd gotten none of those things. Oh, yeah, dude. Thanks for the crumbs, Joe Manchin. I appreciate the crumbs. And then, like, shafting any chance that we had at pushing more important initiatives for climate. Like, for all intents and purposes, like, this is, like, pretty freaking bad. I'm sure there's quite a few of the poorest out there that appreciate those crumbs. Yeah, but when your entire party was behind, like, doing more, or, like, at least on paper, at least on paper, there was supposed to be way more, and then, like, you have, like, one dude who's, like, working in the background to make sure that, like, you don't get that, you just get crumbs, like, damn. We can do better than crumbs. Yeah, I agree. In fact, the Democratic, the initial proposals were a little bit better than crumbs, and he was the one that watered it down. He basically held that hostage. The Democratic Party was poised to do more, and he held that hostage, and he watered it down. But being rid of Manchin isn't getting us towards that end. Well, maybe the Democratic Party should focus on getting more senatorial seats. The thing about Manchin is we didn't get those crumbs because Manchin fought tirelessly to get them for us. Right. It's like thanking your boss for giving you a 1-cent raise instead of the $5 raise you were expecting. Right, exactly. That's like exactly. So that's like your manager. That's like your manager fighting for a $5 raise, and then like the other manager like fights against that and shafts everybody in the room by like saying that you just get like 1 cent instead. and then we're supposed to be like, damn, thank you. Wow, thanks. Really fighting for us. It's going to be tough in 24. That's up to the Democrats if they want to, you know, actually do something. Then yeah, sure. But yeah, I think that's a good analogy. It's like thanking your boss for 1 cent instead of the 5 that you were expecting because like everybody else was on board. But then there was like this one asshole who was like, nah. Manchin isn't costing us a seat by stepping away. It's very unlikely that he was going to keep that seat anyways. Even more of a reason. Good riddance. Fuck that guy. After vowing to shutter coal-fired plants and rely more on wind and solar for the future, he demanded a public apology from Biden, and the White House acquiesced by issuing a statement saying the president regrets it. If anyone hearing these remarks took offense. Manchin's announcement just came after after just a year, Democrats increased their Senate majority to 51 to 49 by flipping a Republican seat held in Pennsylvania. The practical effect of that victory was giving the Democrats ability to pass bills while losing one vote in their caucus, zapping Manchin's power to single-handedly thwart some of the party's priorities. Manchin has regained some of that influence after Sinema switched parties, though she made it clear that she would not caucus with Republicans. Sinema is also up for re-election in 2024 and has not yet announced her plans. Here's some of the states. Oh, God, these websites are horrible. Up here on the ballot, North Carolina. Oh, so just North Carolina. Wait. So far, the No Labels Party has gained access to ballots in Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, South Dakota, Colorado, Nevada, Alaska, Utah, Oregon, and now North Carolina. Jeez. DuckDuckGo. Manchin entered the Senate after winning a special election in 2010 after following the death of Robert Byrd. He won re-election in both 2012 and 2018, with the latter campaign his toughest in a 3+ decade in West Virginia politics. He defeated Republican State Attorney General Patrick Morrisey by just over 3 percentage points. Registered Dems outnumbered Republicans during Manchin's first 2 Senate campaigns, but things have changed since then. Now about 40% of registered voters are Republicans compared to the 31% of Democrats and 24% with no party affiliation. Both chambers of the legislature have Republican supermajorities, and Trump overwhelmingly won the state. Manchin's penchant for not following fellow Dems on some key issues was a cause of angst and bruised relationships within his own party. It even prompted independent Senator Bernie Sanders to suggest he would support a 2024 primary challenger to Biden. Manchin's split with the White House prompted Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell to publicly invite him to join the GOP. Manchin held firm there too, insisting that he saw himself as a Democrat. During Manchin's first two terms in the Senate, West Virginia lost thousands of coal jobs as companies and utilities explored using other energy sources such as natural gas, solar, and wind. Manchin later promoted the Biden administration's plan to involve the state in the development of clean energy, but his push to speed permits for natural gas pipelines and other energy projects, including a planned pipeline in his home state, have failed. Under Trump, Manchin was the only Democrat to vote for the confirmation of the Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh in 2018. Like, this is another incredibly egregious fail that, like, he was a part of. Yeah, you know what? Good riddance. I don't care. And among 3 Democrats to support Neil Gorsuch in 2017. But he voted with Democrats on other key issues, including a failed 2017 effort by Republicans to repeal the Affordable Care Act under President Obama. Cool, nice, thanks. Joe. Judge Brett Kavanaugh is creepy. Yep, and the only Democrat to support his nomination. Phenomenal. Man, with friends like those, right? Maybe I'm mistaken, but Manchin is no big loss. Nah, I'm good. Like, nah, good riddance. Honestly, I'm more and more convinced. Good riddance. With friends like those, damn, dude. With friends like Manchin, their call is a key pickup opportunity. I think Krill will agree with Manchin. Out of the picture, reps will pick up that seat. It would take up Manchin. I would take Manchin any day if it meant keeping the Senate, though. It just depends. Because I would pour resources into earning seats in other places. If West Virginia, if I don't have the time to build the infrastructure, for West Virginia, then I would just be like focusing on where I could win other Senate seats. I don't understand. Like, it's perfectly fine with me if he goes. Manchin was a friend enemy. Yeah, he was just an enemy. He's just bad. The Senate landscape in 24 does not have a lot of wiggle room. Also, like, here's a follow-up question. Why would I want somebody like Manchin regardless? Because, like, let's table the fact that, like, it's already the chances of him winning are already abysmal, even if he did choose to run re-election. Let's just, like, run this hypothetical. What would be the point of having another senator, even if it's, like, a Dem senator, who is just going to consistently, like, dilute any potential important legislation? Like, what is the point of that? And what is the point of, like, having Manchin if he's going to vote for, like, justices like Brett Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch, who have done so much damage, who have done so much damage? Like, why is he there? Like, what is the point of having him just because he has a D next to his name? Biden's on pace to break Trump's record for judge appointed. Yeah, I mean, sure. In that case, it is useful to have a Senate majority. There are tangible differences, judges avoiding government shutdowns and budget things. I don't know. To me, it's no big deal. To me, it's no big loss. If the Democrats want to pour some more effort into maybe trying to either put forth a candidate because he's retiring regardless, or pour more resources into other races, then fine. I think the cost of Manchin was completely unacceptable because he poisoned the well for every other race. Manchin and Sinema are only two people, and yet somehow they managed to create a lot of chaos in a very inopportune moment too. Like, whatever. Honestly, no big loss. Sayonara. Kim Jong-vroom. The Tea Party chose to give Manchin and Sinema the status while they shit on the squad. Howdy. They wouldn't like Hillary and didn't vote for her on principle. We got Trump, and Trump got 3 Supreme Court picks. Yeah, with the help of Manchin, right? At least he was part of it. But yeah, I understand that the consequences are. I understand the consequences. But ultimately, the Democratic Party failed. Ultimately, the Democratic Party failed in the 2016 election, and it's their fault. and it's their fault. Do you guys remember that time West Virginia literally became a state to stay out of the Confederacy? They had a rough few decades. I don't see the point in like rehashing the whole thing all over again, but again, Hillary lost because she was a terrible candidate, and it's incumbent it's incumbent upon the Democratic Party to motivate their base and to get people out. Regardless, like Hillary was a poor choice on the Democratic Party side, and their strategic blunders cost them and cost everybody that race. I don't think it's been said yet, but we should also point out that Manchin is Dem who looks at a long string of Dems pulling out tough wins and saying, well, this isn't going my way, I better bow out. Bad candidate, bad campaign, but this is also the reality of not being motivated and taking a stand against the candidate your party puts out. Yeah, I mean, if the candidate that your party puts out ends up being garbage, and then like on top of that, they're making like strategic blunder after strategic blunder, like I don't know, man. The same story seems to be manifesting itself all over again. But yeah, not to rehash this. You know, the point being is that it's on the Democratic Party to put forth the infrastructure and put forth the effort to get people to vote for something. And I'm talking about like the majority of people, like notwithstanding, like obviously people are like heavily involved and terminally online, like myself. I'm very keen and aware of what's going on. Hillary has said to limit social media, not too bright. Like, limit social media in terms of campaign strategy. Anyways. SAG-AFTRA strike. A deal has been struck, apparently. Hollywood actors have reached a tentative agreement with the major film and television studios to end their historic strike, the Actors Union announced yesterday. The strike had shut down production across the industry for nearly 4 months and raised existential questions over the future of the entertainment business. The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, which represents the studios, had been negotiating with the union off and on throughout the year to reach this deal. Both AMPT and the actors praised the deal. Union President Fran Drescher called the agreement historic, and the studio said that the agreement represents a new paradigm for Hollywood TV and the actors. We did it, the billion-plus deal, 3 times the last contract. New ground was broke everywhere. Thank you, SAG-AFTRA members, for hanging in and holding out for the historic deal, said Fran Drescher. Posted on Instagram Wednesday. The strike will officially end at midnight, the union said in a statement, concluding one of the longest and most disruptive strikes in Hollywood's history that brought the industry to a standstill. The AMPTP is pleased to have reached a new tentative agreement and looks forward to the industry resuming to the work of telling great stories. The White House applauded the agreement, saying in a statement it shows that collective bargaining works. Terms of the deal, which need to be ratified by the union members before it can take effect, was not immediately disclosed. The union said it would not reveal them until the union board has reviewed this deal. In a statement to members, the union called the scope of the billion-dollar deal extraordinary, noting that it includes significant increases in pay minimums, AI protections, and a streaming participation bonus, along with better benefits. We have arrived at a contract that will enable SAG-AFTRA members from every category to build sustainable careers. In an interview with CNN's Kate Boldan, Drescher said that the contract broke so much ground One of the major sticking points in negotiation was added protections for actors' digital likeness that could be used with AI, which Fran Drescher said added in very late evening the night before we passed. There was nothing in the contract that was consent. They didn't have to ask for permission or anything. Drescher said of the previous contract language, now they have to ask permission for everything. The union's lowest paid members also get an unbelievable deal. The studio said that their statement that the actors will get the biggest contract-on-contract gains in history of the union, including the largest increase in minimum wage in the last 40 years, a brand new residual for streaming programs, extensive consent and compensation protections for in the use of AI, and sizable contract increases on the items across the board. Drescher thanked the AMPTP for hearing us and meeting us at this moment. The actors represented by SAG-AFTRA are to return to work after they walked off the studio set on July 14th, joining the Writers Guild in a historic double strike against the studios, the first time the writers and actors had simultaneously been on strike for more than 60 years. While the writers' strike was resolved in September, the production has remained shuttered since as the actors continue to strike and negotiate their contract. At the center of both standoffs is the rise of artificial intelligence, which threatens to upend the entire entertainment business. The deal could face challenges getting ratified. An online petition signed by more than 5,000 members recently urged the union to take a hard line in negotiations toward a final deal, saying that they would not agree to a deal that did not meet the demands laid out at the start of the strike. We have not come all this way to cave in now, said the letter. We have not gone without work, without pay, and walked the picket line for months just to give up on everything that we've been fighting for. We cannot and will not accept the contract that fails to address the vital and existential problems that we all need fixed. The tentative agreement with the AMPTP, once accepted by SAG leadership, will next go to the union's board. The board has until Friday morning to approve it, Drescher said, at which point SAG's roughly 160,000 member body will vote on whether to ratify this. The relationship between SAG and AMPTP should be business as usual and zero problems looking forward. Good, they can make Loki 3. I wonder if Biden will make a statement. He said that collective bargaining works. That's about it. At least that's what this article says. After several fits and starts, the striking actors have resumed negotiations on October 2nd with producers after a long time away from the bargaining table. The announcement to restart talks came a day after the leaders of the Writers Guild of America voted to authorize its members to return to work following their tentative agreement reached September 24th between union negotiators and Hollywood studios and streaming services. But the actors' contract negotiations didn't last long, breaking down on October 11th before returning later in the month. By the end of October, it appears the actor strike was approaching its final scene. SAG-AFTRA and AMPTP had made significant progress in negotiating sessions, arriving at tentative understandings on key components of a potential deal. This past weekend, the studio said they delivered the union their last, best, and final offer, but the union said in a message to its members that there are several essential items that the two sides have yet to reach agreement on, such as the use of AI. LA Mayor Karen Bass on Wednesday said that she welcomed the resolution to the strike. I'm grateful that a fair agreement has been reached between SAG-AFTRA and AMPTP after more than a 100-day strike that impacted millions in LA and throughout the country. Those on the lines that have been hit the hardest during this period have whoa, hey, come back. Hold on. Okay. Those on the line have been hit the hardest hit during this period, and there have been ripple effects throughout an entire city. Hollywood's most famous stars were eager to get back on set. George Clooney, Tyler Perry, and other A-list actors offered to pay millions more in union dues to help end the actors' strike. A source with the knowledge of the proposal previously told CNN. SAG-AFTRA's deal follows on the heels of the Writers Guild agreement, whose strike ended after 148 days. The WGA deal ramped up pressure for SAG-AFTRA to reach an agreement along the same lines. SAG-AFTRA joined the picket line over 2 months after the writer guilds went on strike. Their contract, which will expire on May in 2026, will include pay increases, better benefits, protections against the studio's uses of AI, guarantees for streaming compensation, longer duration employment terms, and other perks. We're thrilled to see SAG-AFTRA members win a contract that creates new protections for performers and gives them a greater share of the immense value they create. SAG-AFTRA's demands were similar to WGA's, particularly regarding artificial intelligence and residual payments from streaming services for their work. WGA's ratified contract includes assurances that AI cannot write or rewrite literary material and will require AI-generated material to be disclosed to writers. Both actors and writers believe that AI poses an existential threat to their livelihoods. A major sticking point during negotiations was SAG-AFTRA's demand for an 11% wage increase in the first year of proposed contract term, while the studio had only agreed to 5%. Many writers resumed promptly. Late Night's biggest hosts, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Stephen Colbert, and John Oliver and Seth Meyers, returned to the air quickly after the writers' strike ended. But Hollywood actors have not appeared on their shows to promote their movies during the actors' strike. The Hollywood strike have been costly, with the nationwide economic impact at least $5 billion, according to economists. The impacts have gone beyond production. It's affected local businesses and restaurants, as well as makeup artists and custodians. I don't think he's mentioned the SAG-AFTRA one yet, but I was curious if he would release a statement or something. It's good to have the president back them up. Might motivate some other places to unionize. I know he went out to the UAW picket. Yeah, he did. Better than anyone on GOP for that matter, based on what we heard last night. Well, yeah. I mean, particularly the absolute ghastly comments with regards to Israel-Palestine. All right, folks, I do have to get going, so we're going to have to speed run, we're going to have to speed run some of this. Apparently, Republicans have not been able to get it together. A government shutdown is looming. They have about a week left, and they have failed to get anything done. They have failed twice already. And here's the thing. Here's the question. Because they are going to have to make concessions. If the Republicans make concessions, is there going to be another motion to vacate? That's the question. If concessions are made with this, with this bill, is that going to trigger another motion to vacate? They're talking a later continuing resolution. I mean, they're going to have to if they can't get it together. We shut them down. You think so? Over under. But MAGA, you mean the Republicans we're praying to get Republicans new jobs? I'm confused. Latter, continuing resolution, different parts of the government run out of funding at different times rather than all. Oh, okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, like, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to do something. Because it's gonna be on them anyways, and if they can't find a way to get this funding, they're gonna have to make continuing resolutions and just continue to kick that political football around, I guess. U.S. House Speaker has a video about how much he prays before work. Oh. All right, really quickly, folks. Democrats' new abortion battle plan rushed to get it on the ballots in 2024. After Ohio's vote to protect abortion rights, Democrats are rushing to get similar measures on the ballot next year in key states like Arizona, Nevada, and Florida, particularly to boost President Biden and down-ballot Democrats. Unless Biden makes more public announcements that this is part of his plan, or this is part of his strategy, given the fact that a divided Congress now in this current climate is I guess I don't know. I don't know how this is going to do anything for Biden other than hey, Biden's the one that's promoting this. He's going state to state, getting people out to support these ballot measures. I mean, other than that, I don't know. In the face of bleak polling on the economy, abortion continues to be a winning issue for Democrats simply because people value bodily autonomy. I mean, this has been proven again and again and again and again. Even in the most ruby red states, when you give the option to put that on the ballot, then people are going to go for it. Mine's what the people at the GOP is standing for, motivates people to protect their rights. Well, the problem is that's gone. It's gone. These are efforts to go state by state to enshrine that. People show up for the ballot measure and might as well vote for president while they're there. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I was just thinking how does this necessarily translate to Biden directly? But yeah, I guess that's higher turnout does tend to favor Democrats. I see. I don't want to delay your dinner. No, it's all good. This is important stuff, all right? And I try to get as much as much of it out there as possible. No, Rove used same-sex marriage ballot measures to raise Republican turnout in 2004. Gotcha. In the face of bleaking polling on the economy, abortion continues to be a winning issue for Democrats, one that could motivate otherwise uninspired voters to turn out and keep the White House in the party's hands. Voters now explicitly endorse abortion rights via ballot initiatives in 7 states since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Last year in California, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, Montana, and now Vermont, and now Ohio. The wins are boosting confidence among Democrats that similar ballot measures and candidates who cast the High Court's Dobbs ruling as a government assault on individual rights can help the party ride the backlash in 2024. Maybe. In private and with a group of abortion right organizers in Miami last month, second gentleman Doug Emhoff has described Democrats' path to victory in 2024 as Dobbs and democracy, according to 2 people familiar with the comments. A White House spokesperson said that Emhoff's public comments were speak for themselves. There's now an added urgency to efforts to get abortion right initiatives in 2024 in battleground states of Arizona, Nevada, and Florida, as well as Republican-dominated Nebraska, South Dakota, and South Dakota advocates tell Access. I mean, nonetheless, regardless, I think that I think that this should be pushed for, right? Regardless. This is why I'm confident in a Biden win. Nothing gets Dems to the polls like Trump and abortion. Yeah, maybe. I'm not as confident, though. Just based on, what we're seeing right now. I'm not as confident. I mean, objectively, right now, it's 50-50. It's a coin toss. Objectively, right now, it's a coin toss. It's not It's not looking great, and it's not looking great in some important key states. Yeah, it's don't look at the polls. What? No, that's they're useless this far out. I disagree, like forcefully. I disagree, like forcefully. If the polls are telling you that things aren't going in a good direction, and you refuse to listen to that, and you continue to go down the same path, you're going to end up in the same place. And then you're going to be like, wow, surprise Pikachu face. I did nothing to course correct this, and now we lost. Okay? Like it's I don't think so. I don't think I don't think that it's to be dismissed. And I think it's very naive to put put heads in the sand and say that there's no warning signs going on over here. But yeah, I think that would be naive to ignore the numbers that we're seeing right now, and then to be like, wow, surprise Pikachu face. Damn, we did nothing to course correct. And look at us now, you know, a year out. Yeah, and it may very well be the case that, you know what, next month, next week, we could start seeing different numbers, and of course they'll sing a different tune. But yeah, it's not great. If these were polls a couple months before the election, I'd be worried. Yeah, but what if the consistent numbers that have been going on continue, and there's no course correction because everybody's like, oh well, you know, it's just a year out. Ah, well, you know, it's just 6 months out. I don't know. It just seems naive to not listen to what's happening right now. Because like a year from now, if you don't course correct, you can't just be like surprise Pikachu face that you didn't do anything when the warning signs were there. But evil is still evil. Nothing will fundamentally change. Well, the argument is always going to be, it's always going to be a battle of the lesser evils, right? Because if you had like, let's say you had a Bernie Sanders candidacy, you would still be choosing the lesser of two evils, right? I mean, Bernie Sanders isn't 100. He's probably like 90. When it comes to materially supporting genocide, there is no lesser. I don't disagree with that. I'm talking about like, you're always, in terms of like electability in politics, you're always going to end up like having to make these type of choices. Doesn't mean that you yourself are putting a rubber stamp on this, because like these politicians are always going to do some, like there hasn't been not that there's an excuse for this, but like there hasn't really been a politician that doesn't have blood on their hands, right? Like in terms of like the presidency, and it sucks. And you're right. There is no gray area when it comes to genocide. The answer is always going to be to support no genocide. That's the only correct answer. So far as urged Israel to take caution to provide humanitarian corridors, to provide food and water to Gaza and allow Gazan citizens to flee and provide aid to Gaza while attempting to fund Israel's aid. Yeah, and which I would respond like, I think that the Biden administration obviously should be doing everything possible to provide humanitarian aid, but they are doing just about next to nothing when it comes to restraining Israel's actions, and that's ideally what they have the power to do right now. Ideally, they have the power to do that, and they can do that by making public statements, like, of course, like, obviously, you know, pushing for as much humanitarian aid as possible to Gaza is important. But then to say that, like, oh, well, Israel just has basically, like, carte blanche to do essentially whatever it wants to do. The government is doing, like, all kinds of atrocities, and the best we have is, like, well, maybe they should try to, like, not kill civilians. That's, like, the most that we have. That's, like, the most we have heard from, like, the Biden administration. It's like, well, maybe they should, like, not attack civilians. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. No, nobody wants a bigger conflict. Making public statements is the minimum and anyone can do it. Giving aid to Israel and money and weapons contradicts their cheap talk. Iran needs to join and put the war criminal Israel in its place. No, I don't think a broader expansion of this conflict would lead to resolution. It just leads to more death. I don't know why why anyone would like want that to happen. I don't think an expansion of the conflict would result in less people dying. They censured Rashida Tlaib. I just saw that. Yeah, they did. I think making a public statement saying that we will no longer support them militarily or financially would make a huge impact. I think that Israel would have to take that very seriously. But you know, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. That's just not a thing that's going to happen. Our enemies would immediately pop a massive boner, or Israel is forced to maybe reconsider the actions that it's doing. Or maybe Israel should reconsider the actions that it's currently undertaking. But it's all, no, they just move in while they had no America to defend themselves. Or maybe Israel reconsiders. If they can't defend themselves, maybe there shouldn't be a settler colonial ethno state. All right, listen, hey, let's not do this. Thank you, Michael Hasser. Anyways, I've already said my piece on this. The point being is that right now the ball is in Israel's court. They're the ones that are taking these actions. They're the ones that have the power to stop it. And as far as we go, as far as the United States goes, that's what we should be doing. And try to minimize and stop the deaths that are happening. I don't think that I don't think calling for a cease of hostilities, a ceasefire, I don't think that's controversial. I don't think that's with that, we as the United States do have a responsibility and have some sort of sway to make that happen. Yeah, if they're in DMs, just ban them. Carpet Packs, how's it going? I don't know. It just seems pretty simple to me. I want people to stop dying, and I want people to stop dying, and right now that ball is in Israel's court. Tempers run high on Twitch. Well, online that tends to be the case. It depends on the subject too. It depends on the subject. Anyways. Israel and Palestine is just on another level in terms of riling people up. Yeah. Because, I mean, like, I get it. And I'm watching the death toll just continue to rise. I'm watching the crisis continue to get worse and worse and worse. And I'm watching entire freaking neighborhoods just continuously get wiped out. Entire blocks just get leveled. And it just needs to stop. Yeah, ethnic cleansing upsets me like that for some reason. Yeah, for some reason, when you read about like tens of thousands of people dying, yeah, it tends to upset people. Yeah. Mostly children, yeah. I mean, you can watch the videos. You can watch the videos if you have the stomach for it. Assigned to raise the blood pressure, we have limited control on this. You mean like we as individuals? Yeah, and that's part of like what's so frustrating. It's kind of part of what's so frustrating, right? Anywho, any other thoughts? And then dinner and weekend. Yes, my thoughts are the conflict needs to stop. There needs to be a ceasefire, and unfortunately, I'm not sure we're going to see that anytime soon. I don't believe the Israeli government is interested in any of that. And we're quite frankly not willing to nudge harder. Netanyahu doesn't sound interested, unfortunately. Yeah, and that's and that's on him. I mean, like, literally Hamas said that if you stop the airstrikes, we'll release the hostages. And then, like, they responded by saying, like, no, there's no conditions on, you just must release the hostages, like, period. And then now they won't even come back to the negotiation table for a ceasefire for the hostages. Doesn't seem like he cares, because he doesn't. Netanyahu said, if you release all the hostages, we won't kill you all. To which they responded like, neither side believes the other. Yeah, but like at the end of the day, like Netanyahu, like Israel has the ball in the court. It's in their court, and it doesn't sound like he cares about the hostages, and it doesn't sound like he cares about terrorism, which is supposedly the entire reason. Supposedly the entire reason for this operation is to eliminate Hamas. I mean, that's their stated goal, but he doesn't seem interested in doing that either. So which begs the question, like, it just seems like, especially given the behaviors of the Israeli government, again, leveling entire blocks and neighborhoods, it seems like they're not really interested in either of those goals. Their explicit goals was supposed to be supposed to be defeat Hamas and rescue the hostages. And they don't seem interested in doing either of those. So what's the point? What is the purpose of the, over 10,000 deaths we have right now, that we know? So tell me, like, what's the point other than just like straight up just massacre? Why are we supporting this? They sure keep looking for them in the West Bank. For some reason, can't put my genocide on it. Well, they're not even in the West Bank. Hamas doesn't control, can't put my finger on it. Hamas doesn't even control the West Bank. Right? That was the joke? Oh, it went right over my head. Anyways, final thoughts is like I don't understand like why we continue to support this flagrant and egregious violation of international law. When we will criticize other countries for violating international law, but for some reason, I guess this is okay. Does anyone think that there'd be a Hamas if there was an Israeli settler colonial genocide project? Well, I mean, like, quite frankly, is Israel, the Israeli government, made Hamas, into existence. The only reason Hamas is where it is because Israel allowed them and put them there, allowed them to obtain power in 2006. Does anyone think there would be a Hamas? Yeah, no, the Israeli government propped them up. I'm just reading and breathing, trying not to type, listening only. We aren't the good guys. No. Does anyone think JFK Jr. put it quite mask off in a rare moment of sanity? What did JFK Jr. say? For what? To beat the PLO, because apparently to them, it would be more beneficial if Hamas took power because Hamas was more extreme, so it would justify the actions of the Israeli government, because they knew that by letting them or propping them up or funding them, whatever it is, like, you know, sorry if the details aren't 100. But the point being is that they were the ones that allowed Hamas to become into power because they knew that they were in extremist groups, more extreme than the PLO, and it would allow the justification, or at least or at least they know that it would put forth a target to continue the cycle of violence. I'm reading about the 5 books, Palestine Now. I'm depressed. JFK Jr. said that is it just me or is the ground getting bigger? Yikes. They use Hamas the same way the British government used the IRA. Yeah, in the same way we use JFK Jr. died in a plane crash. I'm thinking Bobby Jr. Aircraft carrier for the Middle East, third of region joining BRICS, closer relations with China and Russia as a bulwark against multipolarity. Not saying the IRA was British funded, but rather the British used their actions as an excuse to overreact and dismiss the political wing as unserious. Yeah, I mean, similar. It's actually very similar. I was failing to make a joke. Yeah, that one went over my head. At the same time Hamas was supported by Israel, they were building hospitals and schools. At the time Hamas was supported by Israel, they were building hospitals and schools. Yeah, they did. They did. And doing some behind-the-scenes shady shit, but I don't know how much of that Israel was aware of at that time. I mean, I think that they knew. It's hard to believe, like, it's hard to believe that, like, even back then, like, Israel's intelligence and security state was pretty good. So it'd be very weird if they weren't aware of exactly what was going on. It's just like very weird to think that like they wouldn't know. And it's just strange that they would meddle in those elections anyways, because like, damn, SR Arafat and the PLO got the people to the table with those violent actions. I don't know. It's hard to tell because like it's hard to make the argument because like it'd be very weird if they weren't completely like knowledgeable about what was going down. So yeah, I don't know. Sorry if like the Israeli government's actions haven't always been 100. The brown people can't get credit. I mean, Star Trek is supposed to have no involvement clause, but if so, where's the plot or allegory? I'm not sure what Star Trek has to do with this. Meaning, like, why would Israel meddle at that point? And, like, lo and behold, there haven't even been elections in Gaza since 2006, or in that area since 2006. So, I don't know. I get that. However, why would then the Israeli government prop them up? And if, again, the goal is to defeat Hamas, why are they their biggest advertisers? If it's true that they're so like bent on destroying Hamas and they're so bent on destroying this like terrorist group, and why do they keep making like why is Israel their best advocate right now? Why do they continue to make actions that basically make it so that Israel is right now their best advocates? Because Netanyahu is also a POS. So then why are we supporting them? Like, why are we allowing them to do these actions and not saying like, hey, if you don't stop this shit, then we will publicly announce that we will no longer support you militarily or financially. And like, that's it. That's the done deal. But of course we won't do any of that. Sunk cost. If the government gets involved, can unintended consequences or intended be controlled, and should any government? Well, right now it is incumbent upon anyone who has any type of sway to stop this, or to advocate for a ceasefire. I think the U.S. really likes having that foothold in the Middle East. Sure, at the price of whatever untold amount of civilians that we're going to have to read about whenever this decides to be over, which, by the way, Netanyahu and the Israeli government have made it clear in a couple of statements that they don't know. It might be indefinite. I don't know. So, like, I don't know. Like, yeah, sure, we'll have a foothold in the Middle East at the small price of, a literal mountain of blood, I guess. Just the price. Just the price of whatever it is that we're interested in keeping there. And because we want to prevent indigenous liberation movement and everywhere in the world, because they are inevitably lead away from capitalism. Biden said as much, which is one thing I don't like about his foreign policy, but I'm also not privy to all the information that the U.S. government has. Well, I mean, none of us are, but I mean, like, we all have eyes, right? We can all see, like, what's happening. So I don't know, hey, I guess, the U.S. Will enjoy its foothold or whatever at the small price of, like, at the small price of right now 10,000 people, and God knows how much will be at the end of this, if there is an end. It's I hope it was worth it. I hope the mountain of corpses that we Israel will do what it wants, maybe so, but also we're one of the biggest players in funding them and giving them weapons. So maybe by telling them that if they don't stop this, then they're not going to get weapons and funding. U.S. government labeled Nelson Mandela and the ANC terrorists, so forgive me for not putting any good faith in their policies. Well, no, I don't suspect that we'll make any good foreign policy decisions. That much is clear. He's still 1,000 times better than any GOP president would be, so we work with what we got. Yeah, but maybe, like, we expect better. I don't know. Maybe like the most minimum thing that we can expect from a U.S. president is to, like, attempt to like put an end to this death. At the very least, we can expect to make statements or speak to the prime minister, to Netanyahu, and say, like, you need to stop this. He has been, yeah, and Netanyahu has done absolutely nothing. He's wiped his ass with whatever tepid statements that we've told them. So that's why I keep saying that, like, if he doesn't want to play ball, then we publicly announce that we're not giving him shit. And that'll get some bells to ring. If he doesn't want to play ball, and Biden can do this. Biden can be like, listen, bro, if you don't stop this, if these actions are not excusable, these are violating international law. We've got, like, a ton of fucking, like, war crimes. We've got how many dead civilians. If you don't stop, we're gonna make a public announcement. We're not giving them anything right now other than the usual yearly funding. But if we make a public statement saying that we will no longer help you in any way, shape, or form, if we make a public statement that we will no longer help you, you know how much of a massive impact that's going to be? Think about it. That would be huge. If the United States said tomorrow, like, hey, listen, bro, if you don't stop this, we will stop publicly helping you. I think that endangers civilians in Israel too. So then you're saying that Netanyahu doesn't give a flying fuck about Israeli citizens either. Like, that's basically, so he doesn't care about Israeli citizens. He doesn't care about stopping Hamas. He doesn't care about rescuing the hostages. Like, so then, like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Because we should not be a part of this if that's how it's going to be. If that's how it's going to be, then it's clear that he doesn't give a fuck. So why, like, we'll just peace out. Since clearly Netanyahu's wiping his ass with, like, every, like, asks that we've made, the most tepid and the most lukewarm asks. Well, can you please try to, like, minimize civilian casualties? Can you please, like, maybe not, like, you know, like, we've been saying this, and we've gone back and forth on this enough times. We've gone back and forth enough times, so if he doesn't want to, if he doesn't care about Israeli civilians, and he doesn't care about defeating Hamas, and he doesn't care about rescuing the hostages, and, like, meh. The idea of blew through Israeli citizens to take out the Hamas terrorists at that music festival. Not big ones, but some. Yeah, but, like, it's not, it's unacceptable that, like, these bombings will continue. We have no assurances from him whatsoever that he's going to stop. We have no assurances that, like, his objectives are even, like, that there isn't even, like, a palpable, like, objective to be reached, and what the plan is to reach that objective. We don't have that. We don't have any assurances that he's just gonna, like, oh, the 4 hours are stopped, boom, the bombings resume. I mean, like, what assurances have we gotten? Other than, like, yeah, I guess we won't bomb the ever living crap out of them for, like, 4 hours, and then it's, like, then it's free, then it's bombs away. It just needs to stop. But again, the United States government does have, I think, a lot of sway, and I think that if he's not willing to play ball, then make a public announcement. Oh well. Anyways, it's past 8 o'clock. I do have to get going. Just to kind of tie up everything. This is a great idea. And I think that the effort to put the right to bodily autonomy on as many state ballots as possible is a good idea. Found on page 43 of the $150 billion emergency weapons funding package the White House sent to Congress, buried in the legislative legalese, is a provision that the president to be given blanket authorization to approve billions in grants, not loans, for Israel to spend on advanced weapon systems and other defense articles. Yeah, like, I know that that's their suggestion for Congress to pass, but, like, that's ridiculous. You could probably take that piece of proposed, like, package and tell Netanyahu, like, you're not getting any of this, and you're going to get a public statement saying that we're just not going to support you. How do you like them apples? If Biden declares that the U.S. withhold funding until the bombing stop, the Dems will lose huge in the election, full stop. Will they? Because, like, the way I understand it, it's overwhelmingly popular. It's overwhelmingly popular to actually advocate for, like, a ceasefire. It's not a reason to keep murdering kids. Just saying. What, elections? Yeah, I get that. But to my understanding, it's the opposite. Most people want a peaceful resolution to this. Withholding funding equals Dems do not support Israel to the zero-sum crowd. War is a bipartisan racket. That's true. But bailing on Israel, pull it off is not popular. Israel has a lot of support in the U.S. Does it? To the point where, like, if somebody says that we should advocate for a ceasefire, that would be like a losing issue. Damn, that's even more depressing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe I'm just more hopeful and more people wanting like this to stop. Maybe I'm just more hopeful. Advocating for a ceasefire is fine. Yeah, but like, how do you get Israel to stop? Advocating for it by withdrawing aid to Israel is not. But like, how else are we going to get them to stop if they're not doing it? If Netanyahu's like not willing to stop, then like I don't know what to do. Besides, like, even if that's the case, so what? It would be the right thing to do, right? There is like an uncounted amount of lives. So like, oh well. It would be the right thing to do regardless, even if it's unpopular. And that's pretty depressing. Israel spends a lot of money our Congress gives them on our Congress. That's true. That's depressing. This is just business, so it will pass. There will be things in there to keep it safe for only a few ceremonial protesters protesting nays. Well, that's depressing. It's a status quo to be pro-Israel in America. Which is why you see like two of them supporting Palestine. Yeah, but like not even like I just don't want dead civilians. I just don't want more dead people. And apparently that's a really hard ask. I just want like the bloodbath to stop. That's really like what it boils down to, is like I just want people to be seen as humans, and I want them to stop being like bombed. That's it. I agree. Politicos do not see it that way. Politicians are important, but they do by and large know their base. It's counter to U.S. policy. Well, that's depressing. Well, I guess I expect too much. And I guess I hoped for too much. Get up. I am getting up. It's been that way forever. See Madeleine Albright's comments on Iraq in 90s. Yeah, that may have been way too much, way too old for me. But I was there for 2001, although I was young. But yeah. I am getting up. Don't worry, Michael Hassler. So I'll do the dab. We're about to live through one of the darkest moments in modern human history. That's not making me feel any better. All right, folks. Well, I have to head out and get some dinner. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Michael Hassler. Thank you, Heat. If you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit the follow button. It really does help us out. If you want to help support the channel and go even further beyond, hit the big red subscribe button on the YouTubes. Thank you, Michael Hassler. Also, thank you to the subs, the biddies, and the follows. I appreciate it. Quick shout outs. Thank you, Carpet Packs, for hanging out. So please go follow twitch.tv/Carpet Packs. And I do see Alio, twitch.tv/AlioShare. I'll just give quick shout outs here. As I was saying, folks, we'll be back on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one, Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. See ya. Try to enjoy the weekend. Yeah, if the planet's here. All right, we're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.